Hey everybody, what's going on? Carl Markowski here, and you are listening to the Playing On Podcast. Thank you for joining me. We are brought to you by Planet Eclipse, the makers of the Split Compact Gear Bag. It's pretty rad. If you go over to planeteclipse.com, you can check them out. They're a dual-layer gear bag. The top I use for all of my nice, clean clothes that I wear after the event, and the bottom is where I throw all my dirty, nasty gear, and it's very, very cool. You know, it's smaller than a normal gear bag, but I'm able to fit all of my stuff in there because I have little spots for everything, but it's just the right size. It's great. You can stack them in the back of a van very, very well, so that's a good thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So thank you to Planet Eclipse for sponsoring this podcast. We are also brought to you by Midwest Clothing. They have a cool section of headgear over there. That's what I use them for. I've a sandana from them, a headband from them. I have, they make pants at Midwest Clothing. They make shirts, long sleeves. They make all kinds of stuff. So make sure you go over there and check them out, MidwestClothingLLC.com. And if you type in capital TPOP, you can get a cool 20% off at checkout. So thank you, Midwest Clothing. We are also brought to you by Vantrition. They are the suppliers of the paintball preload, the reload, and the all kinds of proteins. If you check them out, vantrition.com, they have all kinds of sweet paintball supplements, as well as they make stuff for football, baseball, hockey. The guy over there at Vantrition, he has all kinds of supplements for anything you need. Vantrition.com, and if you type in capital TPOP, you can get a sweet 15% off as well. Well, not as well, but 15% off. So it's pretty cool. Thank you, Vantrition. We are also brought to you by Carbon Paintball. They are the providers of the base layer for Chicago Aftershock, which is it's this cool underlayer that has pads inside of it. It's not too tight. It's not very loose, so it's cool. Everything stays in place. But they also make a very cool pack. If you want to go check it out, carbonpaintball.com. Again, if you type in capital TPOP, you can get 15% off at checkout. So thank you, Carbon. And lastly, we are brought to you by Raza Paintball, where they can take some crazy idea that you have and mix it up and turn it into a ball and throw it onto a jersey or a t-shirt and bring it to life. So that is pretty cool. RazaLife.com. If you type in capital TPOP, you can get 19% off at checkout if you're buying your kitten layered jersey or tank top or whatever you want. They can make it for you. RazaLife.com. Thank you to all of our sponsors, and yeah, let's get into it. On this episode, we have Mike Bruno, the one and only Mike Bruno, the coach of Chicago Aftershock, former player of Chicago Aftershock. A lot of people see Mike in a different light, but it's one thing to see him on the webcast and to hear stories about him, but it's another thing to actually know him and be friends with him and know how he works. No one's going to know how he works and how his brain runs, but besides him, and I don't even know if he knows, but he's a very unique individual, and I really enjoy him as a coach, as a friend, and I'm slowly beginning to understand him. So, I had a really good time talking to him, and I'm glad he was able to kind of open up and sit down and sit still for a couple hours and talk to me about his position as coach on Chicago Aftershock. So I hope you guys enjoy the podcast, and we'll see you at the end. Mike, you look tired.
It was a long day.
What did we do today? Did we get? I went over to the field a little bit, got a little bit of a feeling for the field and everything because it was the first weekend of the layout. But we also had the 10-man mechanical today.
Yes, which we did that quite often today. Which it is what it is. We didn't play as much on the airball field as we would have liked to.
But you'd have to say that it's kind of like I wouldn't say a tradition, but like we would being Aftershock right now, you think we'd have to kind of play that just because
Rennick cares.
Because Rennick wanted to.
Yeah, so we do what Rennick says, so we did it. We were there and we had fun. It is what it is. We all got to be together.
And the communication was good.
Yeah, the guys did great communicating. I mean, the guns are a little slow compared to what it is nowadays. That was a culture shock there, buddy.
Yeah, I kept trying to turn off my autococker and didn't realize that there's no button on the thing.
I hadn't fired an autococker until I ran to that corner on the first point I played, and when I wrapped around, I was like, "Oh my lord, this is just boring." I was like, "Toom toom." I don't know.
We're gonna have to get you a new. We gotta get you a new chair because all I can hear is that creaking. Just like that, all I was hearing was the creaking. But while he's getting a new chair, yeah, I played a little bit on. I played a little bit on the field today. Got a kind of a feeling for it. It's gonna be pretty interesting. I played with our D2 team, but it feels real close, like real clustered together. I think there's gonna be a lot of run throughs. I feel a lot of runs through the middle to their side, all that good stuff. But let's go back and talking about Rennick and everything. So when you were younger, didn't know about paintball yet. What were you doing before you discovered paintball?
Well, I'm in high school and stuff. You played baseball, football, and then drag racing. I was in the cars. We used to have our Mustangs, and we go out there and street race and stuff like that. And that was kind of I don't know. I've been doing paintball, man, since I've been 12 years old. So competitively, when I met Rennick and them, did it. So I just kind of went along with Rennick when I was like 16 and got on. It was called Aftershock 2, I believe, at the time. We went to Nashville. We just got walloped, and then Rennick just they had the Aftershock. Then Danny Love moved out here. They weren't believers in young people being able to play paintball at the time. It was more middle-aged guys. And then Danny Love came, and he enabled me to, we were best friends, and he let me play. He told them basically, hey, Mikey's playing, because I think they went to their first national event, and they took 8th place. And I was better than, I felt I was better than a lot of the guys on the team, if not the majority of the guys on the team. Yeah. But I was just too young in their eyes, but I wasn't afraid of anything. So they went to the first event, they took 8th, and then they picked me up, and then, what do you know? We won the next 4 or 5 events. I'm not saying it's because of me, but...
Now, you said you met Rennick through street racing?
No, I've known... Rennick used to...
How did you meet Ren?
Rennick, when I was young, Rennick had a fast car. He used to kind of talk to, or whatever, my babysitter. That's, I was like 7 or 8 years old. He was that dude. Yeah, with and then I started playing paintball with my friend at the time, Jamie Westerman, and then his brother-in-law was Rennick's best friend. We were young little kids, and Rennick was selling paint guns out of his basement. He had a little store in his laundry room, and I would have my grandparents drive me to his house, and they would just drop me off, and I was like 12 years old. I'd just be hanging out at some grown man's house. I wouldn't leave. I just loved paintball. Yeah. And then I used to, I don't know, I started mowing lawns to pay for paintballs, and then I would make those bore swabs. I don't know, they're gun swabs now. They use them for the real guns, but I had my own little...
The ones that have the cable on them, and you pull
No, those were the jerk squeegees. Marty Bush made those, but these were just the basic $1 stick dowel rod with a little material. I'd hot glue it, and I'd sit there and just roll thousands,
straight stick ones,
hundreds and hundreds at a time. And that actually gave me a whole lot of money to.
So you started that?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Me and my mom, actually. Yeah, that was because my dad just thought paintball was stupid. It wasn't a sport.
Right.
wasn't football or baseball or something like that. So
I think that's a lot of people though. Like when they begin, like my parents, they didn't know what the hell paintball was, and if it wasn't football or baseball, what they're accustomed to, what the hell is it? You know,
Right,
why should I
right.
invest time? And I mean, yeah, they did eventually, and they supported me no matter what, but you know,
Well,
they didn't see it as seriously as I took it.
well, my parents, my dad thought it was stupid. You know, probably till the day he passed away, he thought it was just whatever. He think he came to see me play one time.
Right.
I got in a fist fight during a game, and that was the last time he ever came. And but my mom,
pro game?
Yeah, it was in Joliet, in it was like in a football stadium. It was like before airball, but they had these like bunkers that were made of tarp and like metal rods. I don't know. It was kind of silly. They were all low to the ground and everything like that. But I don't know. That was the only one he ever went to. And then my mom, it was more or less the experiences I'm going to have. The places I'm going to go, the memories I'm going to get, the travel, all that stuff was more what they supported was the friends and the experiences you're going to be able to see and experience.
Right.
So that's what my parents were all thumbs up about. And my mom knew who everybody was. My dad was just my dad. He was an old school Italian guy. He was cool, but he was tough.
Mm-hmm.
He told you the way it was. So
was your family like were they a military family? Were they kind of into sports?
My dad was in the Air Force. He was a starting running back for Illinois, the college. So I don't know, he played with Dick Buckish. He was a hard-nosed.
Oh,
really? Yeah. He went to, they were opposite schools, but they grew up, across town and stuff. He used to tell me stories.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know he went to Lindblom, and it was cool. He was they were great parents. They took us everywhere and kind of did everything, for your kids, for the kids. So it was. I was more spoiled than my sister. I was actually very spoiled compared to my sister. Just my sister.
Just your sister.
Just my sister. Yeah. So I was like that. I was the only boy in the entire family to carry on the name. No, I was the only boy. I'm the youngest. I'm the baby. So you get spoiled. The only boy, besides my grandpa, because my sister was his favorite, or my mom. But that was it was pretty cool, growing up. I was just got, babied, and I got to experience paintball through, I worked for Ren forever, got a job when I was a junior in high school with them, and then when I was a senior in high school, I would get out of high school at 10 a.m. so I could go to the store. And I would be at the store, and I would play paintball all week, like as much as I can during the week.
Yeah. And
then once I started to play an Aftershock, I don't know, it was paintball. 6 days a week. We would never stop playing. But then I had to still work, and then Rennick owned a lumberyard also. And he would sentence you over there to a few weeks or a few months. You'd have to go there, and you'd have to start at 5 a.m. and then I'd have to shower at the lumberyard and then drive straight to Bad Boys and work there till 9.
Right.
Then I'd go out drag racing and play paintball in between there. But it was paintball all day, every day. I don't think there was a day. Yeah, we nailed it, bud.
He had like 4 cups of coffee.
Yeah, you gotta make your own. It was Carl's fault. He told me. He goes, "Screw it, just have it."
I thought he was on his first cup still, like I am. He's like, "No, this is like my 8th."
Oh, man. You kidding me?
Everybody who's listening is 10:30, and it's after a long day of paintball, so we're trying to stay up to do this podcast.
Most people won't drink coffee at 10.
I get a sip of coffee.
Most people won't drink coffee at 10:30 at night. They think I'm crazy.
Yeah, just stay up.
I drink that shit at 2 in the morning, dude, and go right to sleep.
So, and that's Brian McKenna, our Canadian pal on Aftershock.
So anyway, we just, it would be just, I don't know, you would eat, drink, and sleep. Paintball, drag racing and girls. My whole, God, I don't even till late 20s.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
So when you first got on Aftershock, was there like an instant rivalry with any specific team right away?
Well,
or did it kind of build up?
No, when I was young, before it was like Rennick and them's first pro events, they were the Hitmen, and then we were Scream. I was just so young, I would tag along, but I was on the team.
Yeah.
Rennick was great, dude. Let me get this straight. Here's a little teenager. I'll be 15, 16. I would sneak out at night, for instance, on Friday night, go to my girlfriend's house in the middle of the night, and then I would wake up. Rennick would pick me up there in the morning. He would pick me up whenever, Saturday morning. He
was like the son that he didn't have. Because he has 3 girls, right? So
he finally got a grandson, too. But, he would... I don't even know how to describe it, dude. A young teenager, and this, he was upper 20s at the time.
Yeah, just kind of took you under his wing.
Yeah, and just would always pick me up, and he would because I was always faster than everybody, and
right.
I wasn't afraid of anybody, so.
Were you pretty tough, like in high school? Playing sports, you gotta be.
I was smaller in high school.
Did you get in fights or anything like that in high school?
Yeah, I had issues. I always got into it, but I kind of shot up. Towards the end of high school, and then I hung out with certain guys out of high school that were all fighters, and Rennick and those guys used to just beat me senseless.
You're talking about the shot guys at the time?
Rennick and Gary Noblet, they would beat me up bad.
Yeah, but that was like a different time. 'Cause I want to talk about that too, like how today's pro circuit and programs and kind of overall mentality is different from professional teams back then. Like, I feel like teams back then, it was so just cutthroat feeling. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, if you do something wrong, we're going to let you know it.
Well, yeah, you would. It wasn't a shocking moment nothing would shock you. Like, you could, F you to somebody and then get punched, by your own guy. You just get hit and you'd be fighting, and then it would be broken up, but you'd still be best friends because we were all great friends, all of us. But
do you think it was that way just on Aftershock, or
no? It was
all
teams.
It was.
We were more physical. We would always, punch. But I was raised, Rennick and stuff always kind of raised me as if somebody says F you, that's a fight. Mm-hmm. And you should hit them before they get the U out of their mouth.
Yeah.
So, growing up that way, after I graduated when I was 17 from high school, I was put in, a little bit like those few months early, so I was always a year younger than everybody. But it would just be like, yeah, just hit them, just take off on them, figure it out later. Don't
take any shit. Just
hit them. Mm-hmm. If somebody says something to you, or if somebody comes near you, or whatever, because you don't know if they're going to hit you, or you don't know if that was a different time. Nowadays, you got some idiot standing there with a phone, another idiot calling the cops, and this dude that you just hit sues you when he was screaming at you, calling you names, and then walked towards you, but he was really going to chest bump you. But I don't know what you're going to do to me.
Yeah.
So I'm hitting you before you could even do anything.
Yeah.
Just take off on them. But
they just get it's crazy. 'Cause there's no way that happens nowadays.
No, because everybody's a bunch of little. I don't even want to get into that, dude. It disgusts me. Guys will twist an ankle. Oh my God, Bruno! I can't run a snake, or I can't.
Yeah.
Man, suck it up, bro. Okay, when that horn blows, you can't feel it.
Right.
It's the adrenaline. So just go. I don't care if you got a hobble out there. But just play, man up.
So do you think, like, kids, not just off the field shit, like you were talking about, like the fights and whatnot, do you think that the way that kids are nowadays and players are nowadays, that affects their play and their belief in themselves on the field? Do you think that affects it? Or is it just kind of a different mentality now to where they get that from somewhere else.
They're entitled now. They feel they're entitled. Well, I'm entitled to this when you're really not entitled to shit, okay? You're entitled to my honest opinion, you know? So, like, if you play like shit, okay, what am I going to say? Hey, bud, you tried. No.
Here's a medal. Here's a you tried medal.
Here's a you tried medal. Come on, buddy. No. You know, and that's what society is today. Is oh, my son got a participation award, or I did this, and it's just like, no, man. Okay, you give that them when they're little kids, but when they get a little older and they understand to compete and stuff like that, it's just it takes a different person. And today's society isn't like that. If you look at like paintball, for instance, because we're here for paintball, you have these great teams, these great players, these great, you know, like Impact, for instance. They're spawn from my generation. Okay, you have like a J-Rab. Look at his dad. You have, you know, Bart's kids. Now, maybe Bart wasn't, you know, at the super high level with them, but it didn't matter because the dude was playing professional hockey. Hello, okay? It doesn't get any more competitive than a professional sport. So he knows what it takes. You know, so you have
Goldman with Hinman, and then Hinman.
Well, that's what I meant. That's Alex Mouse.
Yeah.
So you have that being spawned from that. You have Dynasty. You have Kyle Spickett and all those Dalton and all these guys. You're a product of who trained and raised you, and that's the little minions. Okay, those kids can play ball, and they're from our time.
Right. You
have. I could go on down the line here. You have the Russians on Heat. That's from later in my days. That's still from our breed of time. It takes a special person. You could be a great player, but it takes a special person to know how to win. And these kids, like, I'm not downing anybody, but nowadays it's like I'm entitled to. I could go out there and I snap shoot this and that, so I'm entitled to play, and I'm awesome. When in actuality, you've been at Delta, okay, for, you know, back bunker or a mid bunker. You said you ran out of paint. What? Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah. You went out there with 7 pods, bro. You should have been gone when you shot 4. Yeah. Okay, or 5.
Well, it's knowing the situation.
Exactly.
Right? So anybody can shoot the gun nowadays, especially with it being ramping and whatnot. But you have to know how to play the situation. That's why I think, you know, some of the greats in your generation and the greats in my generation, or even in sports in general. Look at Tom Brady. Look at I was gonna say the Blackhawks, but they got knocked.
Whatever.
But anybody great in their sport, they are great situational, athletes. They know what to do at those certain times, and just because, and I'm not saying everybody's like this. I'm not saying everybody coming up in the scene is like this. This is just who I have seen, who I have had experiences with, who you had experiences with, is this whole, well, you know, I can afford this marker that I have, and I'm full head to toe, top of the line gear, and, you know, I deserve a shot on the team, or I this. Like, you're, you know, back then you were lucky to get a look. You were lucky to ref.
You had to know somebody.
100%.
Now, realistically, if I did not know Rennick, I could have just been a weekend warrior or freaking got on some team and then slowly worked my way on.
It'd been a lot harder.
Yeah, and I may have never even got a chance because I didn't know anybody. But I knew Rennick, and what Rennick surrounded himself with was we were all the same. Competitive wise, you know, we had football players to baseball players to hockey players to fighters to, you know, like, you know, the karate, whatever.
And from all over too, right?
Yes.
Michigan and...
So you just, all of us kind of congregated together, Rennick, surrounded us with competitive dudes that knew how to play sports that were athletic. There's a huge difference. You know, you could take an athletic person and turn them into a great paintball player if they, you know, listen,
comprehend the game,
you know, because if they're an athlete, it's there, you know. And then you had those other guys that were amateur, so to speak, when in actuality, what the hell is amateur? What is pro? It's just, I'm pro. I'm not pro because I'm not being paid full time to play this, but I'm way better than you. For some reason, I'm way better than you. So we have to make these other divisions.
It clicks better for you.
Yeah. So I was part of the time where they had to develop amateurs, different levels, because of the different levels of suck, that these guys had.
Yeah.
And then it was just us. And it wasn't that I was a way better paintball player than you. I wanted to win. I didn't care what it was, whether it was a card game or a video game, anything. I was going to figure out a way to win.
So you think that competitive level was different?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just it's a different time. It's I don't
So is
know.
that what you think made Aftershock of the early days successful? Is that everybody had that super competitive edge to it?
Yeah, and another thing is we've talked about this many times, is you played one game. Okay, so I played these younger kids like Bad Company, say, or Dynasty, but they were Iron Kid or whatever. I don't even know what Alex and them used to call themselves. They had some name before they were Iron Kids, but whatever.
Cat Factory.
Point being is we played them one game. Well, we had tough big dudes on the team, so I could threaten you. I could these guys physically intimidate you. They could get you a little bit on your heels of, wow, that guy threatened to beat me up. So
that brings in the whole mental
going
side
into
of the
game now. I'm either you're not scared of getting beat up by me, or you're a little scared, but either way, it's in your head. So
you planted that seed.
Yeah, it's only that one point. So that little bit of timidness, I'm going to take advantage of that. Nowadays, it's just, you keep playing. So there's no, I can't intimidate you. I can't do nothing to you. But back then you could. And if you're in somebody's head, you've already won part of the game, no matter what you're playing.
Right.
No matter what you're playing. It's just the way it is.
I feel like back then too with 10 man, I feel like it was so much more mental back then, because you spent so much more time. There's twice as many guys now, and you spent so much more time because the games were longer on the field, and the whole tournament itself I feel was probably longer too, and felt longer, that you could do things like that. And now it's not really. There's a lot of people who know people, and it's
now today paintball is repetition. It's the same feel. It's the same thing over and over. There's no change. The best teams, maybe 1 in 5 points, they throw in a move. Other than that, they do the same exact thing every game. Maybe if you shot him going to the God or something like that, the bunker before the snake, you shot him going there. He ran there twice. You shot him. Now all he's going to do is change his path of travel up.
Right.
But it's the same freaking thing. Or these idiots sitting there shooting a lane or shooting a bounce shot on you.
right.
What the hell are you doing in practice with 40 cases of paint shooting freaking bounce shots, dude? There's no skill in that, okay? There's no skill in that. You want skill, you want to even out some playing field, release those bunkers right before that tournament starts. Release that layout, or figure something out.
So do you think it's smarts rather than skill at that point? If they're like,
I
let's
think
say
it's repetition. I think it's repetition.
So they find that bounce shot. Do you think it's rather them just finding an easier way to shoot you out?
The real dude is going to find it on the fly, okay?
Right.
The real dude is going to see that during the game or whatever, and that's
but now
the
all
skill.
that's being taught. That's the
But
thing.
that's
It's
the
like,
skill. The way I always looked at it is if I'm firing, okay, and I'm gun dominant, and I think it might, like, ooh, I bet you I could ricochet that in there. I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. And if he comes out, I worked.
But don't you think that's more of the 10-man mentality too, though? Because you had the time to do that back then. You had the time to go to kind of see that real quick and kind of had time to think about it and then time to do it. And then I feel like now it's so, like you said, it's so repetitive to where you see it and then you just automatically do it. But it's something where you just see it, you go do it instead of like finding it It's like it's already premeditated because you've
just-
walked the field a million times, you've played it a million times.
I just think the player skill is down compared to. I just think the repetitive play of over and over, you're taking the skill out of the game, skill out of the player. Not to say these dudes aren't great players. Some of these dudes are awesome players.
With X-ball, like you feeling like that's how it is with X-ball.
Yeah,
right now?
yeah. What we're doing now, in my personal opinion, it's pretty lame. Okay, because let's face it, you can't film paintball. Okay, sure you could film little games.
It's pretty damn tough.
Nobody watching it, nobody outsiders knows the adrenaline, the feeling you have, or the intenseness of that game situation. You know, and with these air ball, you're watching the game. You see a guy sitting in his bunker and he's like this. They can't feel the paint going past those guys filming it. They can't feel your weight and your weight. It just looks like he's just sitting there like this. They can't see.
I don't know why they didn't go with a bright shell. Like that's why I never.
Well, with
understood.
hyperball or stuff like that, you could be sitting there like this.
You can see it.
Post it in and it's going. At least it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, at least there's loud noises. You know, there's not balls going boom, 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 boom. I mean, it's just, I just don't. It takes the fun out of someone watching the game, and you can't film that stuff. So figure something else out. What that is, it's over my pay grade. I got some ideas, but I'm just Bruno who's a spaz. So, who am I? But you guys, I've watched the sport from when I was young, grow, and then stop, and then the recession, then it went, pew, and then I kind of got out of sport, and then I came back, and I was in shock at how small it was compared to what it was like when I played towards the end of my playing career. Right before the recession, it was big, dude. It was big. It was a great atmosphere. There was players' parties. There was, things going on and stuff. Nowadays, you'd be damned if you want to stick around at that paintball field. What are we going to stick there for? Yeah. There's nothing there,
Unless you're obligated to something.
A trade show.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys sell all that on the internet. Nobody's going to buy it anyway until they go on the internet and, I mean, so
at least for us, there's no real, unless we're doing a signing or we're scouting teams or anything. Right. Other than that,
no, we want to get out of it.
Yeah, there's really no need for us to stay. And yeah, that is a lot different. Like, it was so much fun when they had player parties at like World Cup and stuff like that. Not because it was a giant party, but it was just a big gathering of everybody with the same interest of playing paintball. And it was like another. Oh, I just got a cramp in my leg. Shit, dude!
Shh, the kids sleep. I do not want to wake my daughter up. It'll be on and popping, dude.
Dude, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna just spit apple juice all over you.
Dude, I felt it tightening up, and it like started building up, and just squeezed my leg, and I had to kick it straight out. I'm sorry. That's from being dehydrated all day. But anyway, where were we?
No, that's the size of the events.
But with the players' parties and everything, it was like another beside your team. It felt like another big family and community that all got together and had a same interest. And you just don't. That doesn't really happen. There doesn't happen.
It was nothing to be like. It's 11:30 at night. You got a little buzz. I was hanging out with. I may have MF'd this dude on the field. I may have done whatever, screamed this and that. We screamed at each other. And now we're drinking together and stuff, and we're friends because that was just on the paintball field. It's just like any other sport. On that moment in that game, we're intense. Off that thing, maybe 10 minutes later, we're cool because you just shut it off. Well, it'd be nothing to be 11:30 at night and be like, holy shit, dude, I haven't even showered yet. I'm still in my freaking gear because you were having a fun time with your boys and with freaking Bad Company's boys, All Americans, Iron Men, just hanging out with them and amateur teams. Who knows who they were, but they know you and they're cool and you're drinking with them.
And that's possibly how relationships get started with hey, the players' party. I talked to this guy and I was like, you know, if you might have saw somebody play and he recognized them, and you're like, hey, that kid's kind of good, you know, and then that's how you get looked at or picked up. And yeah, it's weird. It doesn't really happen that much anymore at all. I wish they would do players' parties again.
They don't, and I really can't grasp what it is that they're missing, but they're missing something.
Yeah.
And, you know, with all these fields they have and all this shit going on, the pros are playing in, you know, fucking on the other side of a state compared to where the amateurs are playing. Well, who's going to watch the pros play, okay? Because there's nobody, I'm from the outside, going to just show up at some park and pay $15 or $10 to come see these dudes play paintball.
To sit in the stands.
It's going to be the amateurs and stuff. So, but they have them playing at the same time. And then they have them 200,000 miles away on the other side of the facility when their game might be in an hour. Well, they ain't going to walk all the way over there and watch the pros or nothing like that. So it's like, that doesn't make sense to me at all. You know, I feel there should be a pro only one weekend, and then maybe a few weeks later there'd be an amateur only. You know how they used to do it? That just gives the pros and the amateurs to look up to, you know, I want to be like Carl. I want to be like Carl. You know, I'll drive 2, 3, 4 hours to watch Carl play in Chicago at the Chicago Open, and I'm from, you know, Michigan, or I'm from Wisconsin, or I'm from... So you take those surrounding people, they come, they pay, the other people buy the webcasts, they watch you and stuff, and that's someone to strive to be like and stuff. But no, all they get to see of you is what's a little bit on the webcast from that night, which is always down anyway. You know what I'm saying? So we got to wait till it loads, or we got to wait till when they get back online. And then these guys don't get to ever see you play because they're playing. It doesn't make sense how they do things, but it just seems like it's a congregation of let's make money and let's do it on this weekend.
It's a business.
I understand it's a business, but at some point in time, and I'm not a, you know, like some of these huge business guys like Richmond, these geniuses and stuff, but somewhere along the line, you dropped your prices and stuff to get those numbers up and stuff, so you might be taking a little bit of a bath on a profit for a little while until everything builds up. And then you just slowly increase. I would think that's the same thing. Let's, you know, maybe invest a little money to really boom this thing up. Make the amateurs feel special at their own event. The pros, maybe do something different. You know what I mean?
So if you did just an all-pro event, let's say the weekend after the amateur and divisional event, do you think that it would matter if anybody showed up or not to watch?
I think they would. I don't think it would matter about anything. I think dudes would be there. I don't care what anybody says. If you picked 5 fields across the country, okay, the 5 top fields per se, right? Like Alex Martinez's field. I've never been there, but I just hear good things about it. So I'll use him as an example. I hear it's great and everything. So you have a field that even if it rains, even if it's a crappy weekend, it's still going to happen because it's still a nice looking facility. Now on the camera, what that webcast is showing, it just looks badass. You know, that field.
Yeah. So
now you have all these amateur teams that aren't there, right? Well, that's just more people that are going to view it live viewing, not later viewing, live viewing. You know, because they can't remember because they're playing, and then
or they're there, or they're watching it there.
Or you have how often you see crowds in that freaking thing in the early mornings?
Not until Sunday.
Exactly.
Not until when it matters. And
again, I'm not telling anybody what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? These dudes are way above my pay grade, but there's got to be a little bit of thought going into that. Like, so why isn't there?
But like, let's say they did an amateur and a pro event. Is it going to be worth the company's time and money to haul all their shit to...
They don't have to haul all their shit to... They do a small webcast.
I guess they don't have to do
No,
a pro
they do
event.
a small webcast for the amateurs. Like, maybe show, you know, a little section at one field or whatever, you know, and they do something small. And they walk around interviewing and they do that shit because that could all be done small. For the pro event, okay, for the pro... and the semi-pro, they could both be the same weekend. Doesn't matter on those. You know, you have just one paintball field, you know what I'm saying? And then you have it filmed right there, and that's where you kind of put that effort. The trade show, we don't have a trade show because we don't need a trade show. We might have like you saw today, GI send the little box van,
like a trailer of gear for all the teams.
Yeah,
lenses,
boom, like
all
that.
stuff.
They can have little tents. You know, that's it. But for the amateurs, they get the royal treatment for that big event with the trade show and stuff. Because let's face it, they're the ones spending the money.
Right.
You know, we're spoiled. You know, we allegedly get the pro deals and stuff like that. When in actuality, there's always somebody kicking the bill for that.
Yeah.
You know, no matter
Somebody's
what
always
anybody,
paying for it, yeah.
somebody's always paying for it.
So back then, like early 2000s, late 1990s, what was the trade shows like then? Like, was it huge? Was it huge because there were twice, 3, 4, 5 times as many teams playing, people playing paintball, interested in the tournament scene?
Yeah, and it was 10-man. So some of these teams, a lot of these teams, you know, they said they had more teams at World Cup last year than they ever had. They're only 5-man teams, bro. Some of those guys only got 6 players, 7 players at the most, and stuff like that. Well, we had 10, okay? We had 10, and then they had the 5-man. Okay, so it was 5 and 10-man. So those 10-man or 5-man teams, they played 10-man too, but they had 2 5-man teams in there and stuff like that. So it was, you know, 5-man event at the same weekend.
Right.
You know, World Cup would be a 5-man on Wednesday and Thursday, and then the 10-man on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I don't know, there was just there was crowds of people there watching stuff. And who knows back then if it was our families or whatever. But you know what you could do? Is if you were Joe Schmo across at Kissimmee Old Town with your family and stuff, you could walk across and watch the freaking games without paying, okay?
Right.
Without, you know, and you could see the top teams. And I just don't know if we're at the point where we could charge people to come see us play when, I mean, in my opinion, you're making tons of money anyway, dude. I could do the numbers, okay? I may not be the big money guy, but everybody could do the math, okay? So somebody's profiting, okay? Well, why do you have to profit $10 off of a grandpa that wants to come see his grandson play, or somebody passing by wants to see what it's like, you know, because they have these things at parks or common places. You know, no, you gotta pay, bro. I went to Toulouse in '96. I got off the airplane in Toulouse, and there's freaking posters, okay, of this event in the airport.
See, that I've said that over and over on the podcast,
dude.
And in paintball, I feel like the NXL and whomever else we need, I think needs to spend a good portion of money on marketing. I feel like it's so huge that you can't market, because it just comes down to being an ad at that point, because you can't just market the people that are playing the sport and understand it already. But if you can market it and make it interesting to people who don't know really what it is, and have them somewhat interested in actually going to the damn thing, I think that's going to be the big turnkey on flipping this, you know, paintball world around and getting people who, even companies who are not really interested in it or know much about it, into the sport. Well,
let's face it here, okay? The fields was retail about $8,000, okay, for a brand new field. Oh, you're gonna give me a deal, $6,000-$7,000? Okay, so I've got a $6,000-$7,000 field. How many fields are gonna have 2 of those, right? Yeah, well, they might have an older field, and you know, so they have that. But when I would say Joe Schmo and his buddies come out there, and it's their first time out there, or second or third, whatever it is, and they're playing woods. But, well, what are we playing woods for? Isn't that where the competition is? Yeah, okay, so let's go try airball. Oh, then there's like a D3 guy out there, a bunch of them, maybe 1 or 2 D2, whatever that D stuff is. I don't even know how they qualify as that.
Yeah.
I mean, all I know is I hadn't played for 5 years and I qualified as D1. What? Dude, I don't even have an APPA. Are you kidding me? Well, you're Mike Bruno. So what, dude? I'm fucking 10 years older than what I was.
Yeah.
You know? But anyway, so you have these guys want to go out there and play. They go out there, and it's the worst experience in their life because they get machine gunned.
Yeah. They get cut in half.
Yeah, it's like, well, okay, let's never do that again. That's pretty gay.
See, and I preach that a lot too. Is that those are the guys that are kicking the bill. For us to play at the level we're at, and it's not just the pro
There goes to the
player's
entitlement.
responsibility.
Don't forget, there goes to the entitlement.
Right.
This freaking D level, pro, whatever. Oh man, how much for that case of paint? Oh, dude, come on, bro. Just challenge whatever's. They'll charge me X amount of dollars for a case of paint. Well, it's $5 less, bro. I have to make some money off of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you guys are going to pay that much, and these other dudes are coming, right? And they're going to the same counter you're going to, and you're paying, and they're paying now.
Yeah.
They're paying for 3 cases of paint for 1 case.
Not bitching at all.
Not saying a word.
Yeah.
And they're going out there. Maybe they only buy 1 case. Maybe they buy 2 cases. Okay? But they spent the money. They bought the guns at full retail or something like that, or went online and buy their gun and then, whatever. But we got us. I'm not paying that entry fee.
Yeah.
Hey, but
and then you're a dick to that rec ball player who comes out and wants to try airball.
Yeah.
And now they certainly don't want to try that again, and they're just going to continue. And there's nothing wrong playing in the woods or playing rec ball.
No, but those rec ball players have no idea they're funding you. Okay, and you're over there bitching on an $8,000 freaking field, and then you shit on these dudes when they come out there, and maybe 1 out of 10, even if that's the ratio, I guarantee it's probably 1 out of 20 dudes that come out there and go to the airball, stay and keep hammering with that. We got a little kid out at the damn field. God, I can't remember. It's Cody, or he played on one of our local teams. Ronnie Dizon works with him a lot, and his dad's a great dude and stuff. Cody, I don't know, he played on Fury, and then he played for us. But he's 12 years old, and he's out there kicking it. That's 1 kid, bro. Okay, that's the 1 kid in the past 3 years that I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, stay with it. Everybody else is there when I came back those years ago and stuff like that. So I got 1. There's a little kid, he's not young, okay, anymore, that Ben from, he was with Always Sarge, the Canadian Ben. What a great, nice little kid. You know if you've seen him. Great, nice little guy. He's one person that I've seen that has stuck with it and stuff. So, but now these are people I remember. Why do I remember? Because there's very few of you, okay? There's very few of you that really stick with it competition-wise and stuff like that. And because it's discouraging for the others, or, and then it's so expensive. I could just go on and on and on.
There's a lot.
Even those dudes that are getting the deals, those D-level teams that are crying and bitching and moaning, they're spending $1,000 to $2,000 an event to go to an event out of their own pocket. Holy shit.
Yeah.
No wonder why you disappear after a while, because your old ladies snap on you. Bro, I get freaking attacked by, my oldest son's mom. Every woman I've ever had is basically, this has caused the biggest problem. And then my godsend Dawn, she still bitches about it nonstop. Why? Because we lose, or because. So you're gonna get that home life stuff, and then it's just like, okay, I'm done. It's just too expensive. It's just too. I'll take this year off.
Time consuming.
Yeah, and it's just. Yeah. It's just, and it doesn't pay out. It doesn't, it's like, we went out there and we watched, I don't know, some dudes just get able to do whatever they want, and some other dudes get penalty after penalty, and it's just like, when is enough enough? When is someone gonna step in and say, okay, here's the way it's gonna be, and this is how we're gonna do it, and we're gonna stick to this format. And we're going to try and make the best of it. We're going to do a 3-year or 2-year plan. Okay, whether that's cut it down to 2-man, 3-man, whatever you got to do to make it, to draw people in, and to make it less money. Limit the paintballs. Do this, do that.
I think M500 would be cool.
Don't release the layout.
Ooh. I think that would be cool too.
Don't release the layout. That means
to everybody.
The idiots aren't standing there 2 centimeters off their bunker saying, yeah, a little bit more. No, kick the bounce a little bit that way. Yeah. Dude, I just shot 1,000 paintballs. Oh, it doesn't matter. Sarge is paying for it. You know, something like that. You don't have that because there's no sense of sitting there taking that bounce shot over and over because that's not the field you're playing.
Yeah.
You know, unless you got like Bart and Randy, they'll satellite the goddamn thing from, you know, while they're setting it up. Cause,
Like they set it up, Thursday night?
Yeah, Thursday night.
morning?
Somehow they'll hack into...
That's the tough part. It's like,
you know, the computer and freaking be playing the layout.
But even if they set it up on Thursday night, it's still, I mean, even if they went out there with flashlights, it's still not, they're not going to be able to play it, you know.
Right.
So it's still, anybody can go out there and do whatever. But I think that's a good idea.
But see, that brings in the who's going to see this the best in that hour you get to walk that field. Okay, who's going to figure that out? You're going to see more stunts, okay, because stunts are going to work. So it's going to be more exciting rather than the same.
You're going to see it develop on the
Dude,
field instead of at practice.
You watch these games, dude, and some teams just do the same thing over and over.
Robotic.
They stand in the back, they cross here, they do this robotic totally. They just, they shooting. What are they shooting? Oh, for the pros, our sponsors paintballs. Okay,
I think that's a huge thing. I think M500 would be so. I think M500 would be so cool to see because it's limiting that factor of I can shoot all the pods on my back.
Yeah, but see if
at this one spot.
I don't know how I feel about that M500 BS. How I feel about the whales being released, that's the biggest deal because that takes, instead of you having to shoot, you know, maybe 100 cases of paint on any given weekend to play that layout, them owners don't have to spend that much no more. And maybe, okay, the 500, now your paint out goes down from 100 cases to 40 cases, 50 cases. Now, you know what that does? That might add 3 more teams, 6 more teams into the pro or into this. That might take a kid that's just can't afford it anymore and make him afford it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That takes the sponsors from not giving me X amount of paint, not giving Impact or whoever these teams are, not giving them X amount of paint. They give them this amount of paint to shoot. And, you know, just, I don't know, it just evens the playing field and it saves people money. You know, I mean, my best friend, you know, John, we run Shock, the team, and they're freaking, they get sponsored, okay, and they get helped. I said, but they still just coin out. You know, like some of those kids work a good week and take all of that, you know, they have their money for their bills and stuff, and take all of that other money they could be putting away, and then, you know, for a couple weeks worth, and that's what they have to spend there. So for 3-4 weeks, you either hustled or you worked or you did something to get to this event, and then you're still broke.
Yeah. Even some of the pro teams.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, when is that going to stop, man? When are you guys going to, what, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of things up in the air, and a lot of things that we think need to change. And then there's a lot of things that people think they don't need to change, and other things need to change before that. So it's everybody's opinion of what would make the league better, but nobody really knows yet because
bullshit. People don't know, bro.
Well, we don't know until we try it, fail, try it, fail, try it, fail,
has
and try
been
it
in
work.
the sport, you know, probably almost just as long as I have. You've got all these other big people in that sport almost as long, but some of these things now, I'm biased, okay? Richmond is, I didn't care when he was on a team opposite of me and his other, we weren't sponsored by them or whatever, the nicest dude I've ever met in my entire life. You hear that? You hear that, Richmond? No, but I mean, seriously, all around great dude. Has good intentions for the sport, but then you have these other people, you know, like they want their own league. They want to do. Nobody can just
with their own intentions
and get along and put your money in. Richmond, put your money in. They all want to compete. Now I know that's business.
Do you think it's because all those guys, all those business owners are former players and have that competitive attitude and want to be the best, want to
but be the best, be the best at once. Isn't being the best promoting the sport, promoting the sport, making the sport grow, not making it stale, making it just even keel and stuff, because it never gets above this. It always gets there, and then it goes back down. And then
somebody's always making money off of it. But do they want it to grow?
Can they just all get along?
Yeah.
But I'm saying we don't have to like each other. I don't have to. This guy doesn't have to like this guy. Doesn't have to like this guy. But we have one common goal, and that is to grow the sport. Okay, that's it. You know, I remember being we were in a meeting last year when Under Armour came in. Now we're hashtag Nike, buddy. Nike, okay.
Yeah.
But the Under Armour and I guess Ryan Greenspan or something had gotten into, kind of introduced that and was trying to do that, trying to get a dynasty shoe and all this. So it's like, well, that's BS, because you know you're gonna profit from that and this and that for you guys getting, you know, us all buying Under Armour. You want us to buy our Under Armour, and you're going to be benefiting from that, Ryan, and this and that. And he's like, well, I'm not. No, we're not benefiting anything. We're trying to, you know. And then he got cut off. And I'm like, bro, I'll buy Dynasty spikes. You know why? Because that shows we're going somewhere. Okay, I'll buy a spike that says Ryan Greenspan on it, Morpheus. I will buy that spike for my child, because that means the sport's growing. And if Ryan benefits from it, if Ryan hooked it up, okay, so what? Give Ryan 50 cents. I don't give a shit. He did it, okay? He did it. Kick him something. He deserves it. But you know what? He's developing the sport. Or, you know, because he did it. You idiot. He did it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to point the names out that brought these things up, but you know they know who they are. And it was just like, dude, you come on, bro, give the dudes the credit.
Yeah.
You know, and you know Bart, and give the guys some credit. They're trying. They're trying. Okay, the PSP, towards the end of the PSP, got a little shady. Okay, in the beginning it was cool and everything, then it just started getting a little weird, a little biased, I didn't even know what was going on. And then Bart, you know, like, screw that. You know, we don't like the way that's going because you guys are screwing people over. Let's do our own. But now it's seeming like the NXL gets that way, you know. And it's like, when are we just going to come up with our own league, like, not the freaking insurance scam thing for the $70 a year, but somebody that's just going to come up with all these set rules, this set league or whatever. Maybe instead of paying $3,000 entry, we pay X amount, but we put X amount into the organization to pay whoever to run with the rules and everything.
Or marketing. Or something.
It's not.
So did it feel this way? Did it feel this way back when you played 10-man and you guys reffed each other? And was there this many politics and this much bullshit?
Yeah, it was politics because
obviously when you guys are reffing each other, there's
if you knew
too.
like if we played in an event and then the next event was Chicago, and those refs reffing us, they know we're going to ref Chicago. They would screw us over too bad, buddy.
Right.
Because it's going to come back to you. Believe it. You know, if you screw me, I'm going to screw you harder. And
so it kind of evened up.
It evened it out a little bit. You know, and you just had it was neat, man. It was neat, and it's just not that way anymore. It's just not that way.
It's very I feel like now it's just very structured, very ones and zeros, kind of a thing. So
it's still political. Okay,
right,
nothing's changed there. It's still the most political thing I've ever seen. You know, you see a little infraction and flags fly. Then you see big infractions and nothing fly. Why? Because of maybe who this guy is or who this team is. And it's not like, I can't picture, like, you know, we all know him. I guess I'm bringing it up with, like, Russians brought up about impact and stuff like that. You know, I do not picture Bart going up to the refs and being like, listen, guys, you're either all fired if you throw any flags. No, that doesn't happen, okay? I can't picture that. But what I can picture is those refs out there. Like, well, this is the owner's league. Never saying anything to Bart about it. Bart never, I don't want to piss that dude off. You know what I'm saying? So their mentality going in is, or, oh my God, that's Randy.
So you think it's skewed already?
Sure.
Before the tournament starts,
sure.
Essentially.
Sure. Towards, you know, you see, like Damian Ryan, for example. he could probably walk on water out there and get hit and kind of do whatever he wants. Not because he's some big industry dude or anything like that, because he's Damian Ryan, dude. And a lot of people like Damian Ryan. And so I don't knock any.
But I think that's officiating anywhere too, though, because I mean, how many calls have professional football players
murder, bro?
And,
yes,
yeah, and,
yes.
Yeah.
So more power to you, Oliver Lang. Come on, he could start at B, get shot on a break, and go all the way to there and bring the buzzer, and with 75 hits on him, and he just smile. I'm over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I can't knock that.
Mm-hmm.
And just like what I brought up about Bart, he's not doing that, But those things are, if you look from the outside, when you see who's the best team in the world, this team, who owns the league? It just doesn't look the greatest. Or Heat's on and they deserve every bit. That freaking team is like a machine, okay? They really are. They can be beat, but they're so repetitively sound, so fundamentally sound. They're like just a wheel, and there's nobody sticking a wrench in the wheel to stop it or anything. It's a perfect machine. Why? Because Bart is a ex-professional competitor. He knows everything that needs to be done to win, and he knows how to do it. So he's going to do it perfection. Then you have, they could go on for days, and you have some guy that's got all the other money in the world, but he's just kind of trying to compete with this guy over here, but he just doesn't know how to compete. He just doesn't know how to build the winning formula, okay? He just knows he has all the money to build the formula, but he doesn't know how to build the formula. So I'll surround myself with friends, and I'll pay those people to do this. And then you're, paying these guys to play paintball, which they don't deserve, okay? Deserve what they win, basically. Or a little bit, whatever you want to hook up. But a guy doesn't deserve to get $50,000, $60,000 a year to play paintball.
It'd be nice.
When you don't perform.
Well, no, yeah, but I mean, that's another thing where paintball is completely different, because it's not like we have budgets. It's not like we have, a minimum, salary going in. Right, so it's very paintball is very its own world, but I want to kind of go back to when you were playing paintball still. Did you say that you left around 2008?
No,
around the recession.
Earlier than that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because 2008 I was.
Yeah. I don't know. Paintball kind of. There's not all there's dudes that like to party, there's this, and
kind of take a back seat for you.
Yeah, the off seasons would kill me. Just that off time, and maybe it's, you meet the wrong person, you go down the wrong path because you have all that free time, and paintball starts back up again. It's hard to collect your personal life and stuff when you've been in shambles for 3-4 months. And, then it just starts showing, and then people start talk behind your back. And then it was like, screw it, I'm out of here. And then I got in some trouble and stuff. But
was this after you guys had won and you kind of started losing a little bit more?
I would travel 20 sometimes a year, and it was burning me out. And it just takes its toll on you after a while, traveling.
Because you guys won, how many 10-mans, how many World Cups, how many...
I would go there expecting to win.
Yeah.
So it would be like, just you go there, you plan on playing Sunday. The first 2 days were just like, let's go and just kind of play and learn this stuff, and maybe learn a couple moves and stuff, and then tournament would start Sunday. So we were always in it. Maybe one time in my career we missed Sunday. So we were always in the mix. So it was just like, I would get this much. If we won, I would get this. Well, I'm going after the first place prize. That's all I'm going after.
So who kind of was your guys' the thorn?
Oh,
like who? Like not just who would who you liked playing, but who would always give you trouble.
We were talking about that when I was young. Before my first pro event, the All-Americans. I used to hear horror stories about them, cheating, this and that. This is when I was very young. So I formed a hatred towards them, before I even
like a preventative hatred.
Just hated them.
Yeah.
Just, you're going to cheat? Okay, it's on. Basically type thing. I remember the first tournament was Boston, which we won. And they used to drop all their pods. Well, we had to pay for our pods. They were $4.95 a freaking pod, bro. I'm putting it back. And it was only an 8-round pod. I'm putting it back. I couldn't believe we just beat the shit out of them, beat them all back into the thing. And as I'm walking off the field, holy shit, there's 6 pods behind this tree, 5 pods behind this tree, 10 pods behind this tree. I'm freaking coming out. I got my chest all stacked up. I stealing all their pods. Screw them. It was all Americans. I don't even know who they are, but screw them. These idiots just left their pods. I'm taking all their shit.
Yeah.
And then it would be the All-Americans mainly. I mean,
Who gave you the most trouble as far as
games?
Yeah.
Oh, I never thought they gave us any trouble. They weren't. I mean,
what particular
Iron
team?
Man maybe?
Yeah.
Iron Man. And then there was a Avalanche when they came along at the time. They had such great individual players. They just couldn't get it together like as a unit. But then occasionally they would, and they were good.
Yeah.
So
you guys, you think you probably were the most the records show, but you think you guys were the most consistent as far as placing and winning?
Us and Iron Man.
Yeah.
Us and Iron Man. All Americans were always there, but they played just a sit there and cross it up type play and hide and let you crush their barrel and stuff like that. And then they had great shooting guns and stuff. Personally, I just disliked the team, not the individuals,
right?
But the All-Americans name I disliked. And so you would play in that with an attitude. And even though we'd play them in the finals or whatever, I never was intimidated by them.
Is it because you're Italian and they're all Americans?
Individually, I never thought they. I mean, dude, I'm not disrespecting other guys because they're great guys.
Yeah.
I never thought they could.
Well, that's a rivalry, right?
I never thought they could hold I never thought they could hold my jock. Basically,
right.
I just thought whenever I wanted. Yeah, of course the dude shoots you and it's an accurate shot. No, Iron Man was another team like us of athletes and attitudes and in your face and come get you when they have to come get you. Might be a slow game and shit, and then the time starts winding down. Well, they will stand up and run you down.
Right.
Americans will let the time run out. So to me, you're just LA's. We'll just let your air out of your tire at the hotels. Type things. It happened to them every event.
So the reason I was bringing up the whole consistency thing is because Chicago Aftershock from Chicago, you guys as a 10-man team, you would practice here. Would you have teams come down and practice, you guys, pro teams?
All the time.
So you had that.
We never would go anywhere.
So you would have.
But we were good enough to where they would come to us.
You had that advantage.
Yes.
So, what do you think is the biggest difference between the Aftershock starting to win and starting to get their balls rolling back then, in the same situation we are now, the same area, whatever, to the Chicago Aftershock of today? What do you think is missing from that puzzle?
One or two guys that knows what to do when the time comes, and that might be, say you're in the snake, right?
I mean, do you think it's not playing enough pro teams?
No, I think it's
or having to play at indoors during the winter. You know what I mean?
Marcus Allen said it. It takes that special breed, dude. And it's just like you're in the snake, for example, and say Nick Sloviak or whatever, he dies, right? And you're like, and he's a great player. I'm like, God damn it, this dude's dead. I got to go win this game, and then you do it. Okay, right. Doesn't mean just stand up and try and run somebody down. It doesn't mean, you do what is necessary. Okay, you move when you need to move. You back up when you need to back up. You
just take on that
You
responsibility.
take it on, and in your head, and that whole time, I'm not going to quit. Because let's face it, when adversity comes, it takes that dude to be like in that bunker to where they don't try and get shot. I don't know how to describe it, but they know they're not in a good position, so they'll just try and fight. Knowing, and they're just trying to, it's the fight or flight thing. It's not no, I got to figure out how to win.
You're almost hoping to win because
You're hoping to win and you're trying too hard to win, but you're not going to win.
Thinking the odds are almost against you.
Yes, yes. Instead of thinking, I know the odds are against me. I'm gonna pull this bitch off. I'm gonna show you.
Being on the right side of the odds, putting yourself on the right side of the odds.
It was Joe Montana said it. It wasn't the wanting to win, okay? It was the fear of losing.
Right.
So that caused you to want to win. And it's like guys go out there now to not to lose. And people look at me like I'm cross-eyed when you say that. You go out there and try not to lose rather than go out there and try to win. Okay?
I think there's a huge difference. I've said that multiple times to guys.
That's like going into a fight like this and hoping the guy gets tired and swings himself out.
Yeah.
You have to hit. You have to. Or you can't win a fight.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Yeah, sure. You have your people like a Mayweather. They go their whole entire career, don't lose, dancing around and doing angles on you.
Right.
And then you have, like this paintball team. I'm not getting a target on me, dude.
Right.
I already have one. Of dudes they go out there and they just go, and they're just, what? That's gay, dude.
Yeah.
That's lame.
So how I think of it too is like you don't want to go out there hoping that the person makes a mistake.
Yeah,
I feel like you want to
waiting.
almost force their mistake.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, I don't know, Damon, I wanted to choke slam him when he said that. Oh, it's Aftershock. They're going to make a mistake. No, you faggot. We're going to try and beat you, okay? I'm going to try and stomp your head into the ground. I'm not going to sit back and hopefully you swing and miss and I fall and then you could hit me. No, dude, I'm coming to fight you, bro. Come fight me, okay? Why are we here? We're here for, man, screw you, That's how I look at it. Like, that's gay, okay? Just sit back and you're supposed to be a great player. Show me you're great.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and wait for me to make a mistake because I'm coming. I'll tell you before the game, I'm coming to get you. Whatever the case may be, I'm coming. Let's fight it out. Now, if I'm up 3 points or some shit like that, okay, maybe I'll sit back on you. Now you got to come get me because I beat your ass for the first 3 rounds.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now you come and try and earn that victory. Because
I think while you're playing, you can sense the intimidation from somebody else that you're playing by just playing against them, snap shooting against them, or playing against them. You can sense that intimidation or that control. Yeah. And I think that's what you and I are and Sloviak are trying to help with some of these guys is that you have to almost tell yourself that you are in control of the situation and have that confidence to make those moves when they need to be made. And we made mistakes at the last event, but I think there's definitely something that can be fixed with just playing another event. So having that first event jitters out of the way, I think is great because I think we ended on a high note with beating Uprising.
But we were in, in
a lot of those games.
The first game, we won the first point, and then we had issues in our pit, which should not have happened. We had internal issues of our first tournament together of 80% of our team, their first pro tournament, 70% of our team, their first pro tournament. We had internal issues. The second point, the third point, and then I think the fourth point.
Yeah.
Like we went down 3-1 or something like that.
Yeah, it just
that was
got out of control.
ours. You didn't beat us. We beat us. You may have thought you beat those points. We had some issues. I see that. And then, we brought it back. and then we, just stepped on our things. It was too late. We couldn't, Then we played what was it? Impact, Infamous. Was it? Infamous.
Because then we went to we tied them. Yeah, it was a back and forth game.
We gave them that game,
and then the overtime point we lost by making a mistake. But you go from
no, it should have never been in overtime.
Right. But
what I'm gave them that game.
You go from the outlaw game where we lose by 2 or 3,
which they deserve to win. They deserve to win.
To playing Infamous, tying them up and going into overtime. So I think that's a huge jump. And then playing Impact Saturday morning, being in the game, and then they kind of pull away a little bit towards the end, but we made a few mistakes. But then we go and we beat Uprising after being down 2 points.
See, that's never happened. Is that first game we lost against
Outlaws?
OMG. The first game we lost last year's team. If we would have played Infamous, the second, they would have freaking 6-1'd us or something. They would have been so discouraged from the other one. Then we would have had a fair shake against Impact the first day. Yeah. First game of the next day. And then maybe like 1 point where we thought they might have should have got a penalty and nothing happened. They would have just went, done, killed out. Not these kids, dude. Brush it off.
So was last year, do you think we had too many
Chiefs. Too many Chiefs that were entitled to nothing. Because if you look at those players, and I love them, guys, okay, I love some of those players. They came to our team. They thought we were going to do great. We had so many great paintball players on one team, all of which pointed fingers at each other, behind each other's backs. All of which thought because they won on Houston Heat, because they won on Infamous, because they won on this, that they're coming in here to be the save-a guy or whatever. Why did you win on those teams? Nobody realizes. Nobody even acknowledges that. Why did you win on those teams? You won on Infamous because there's a superstar on that team, and the team's built around that superstar. Okay, that superstar is Damian Ryan. Okay, you won on Heat because there's 3 superstars on that team. Okay, and then when you narrow it all down and you look at some of those, you won on this team because why? Because you played your role. You did your role player. You're not that superstar. You weren't that superstar on them. You could be that superstar, but you never took over and did that stuff. Why? Right. Because you had Fedorov that's going to win the game for you or whatever. You were a role player. And that's what people are missing is now what do? So they all quit or whatever. They went their own way. Where are they now? They're a role player on a great team. Go ahead and don't do your role. What's that team going to do to you? You're set, okay? Because I got someone that'll do that role.
Well, I think that's why Dynasty. That's why Impact. That's why all the top X Factor. That's why all those top teams right now are so good because they have those role players that do their job and they do it well.
Right. You either want to be a leader, or you want to be a follower.
And that's what
do you want to be?
Exactly. That's what and I think with this new team, that's what we're trying to accomplish. And they all have that mentality.
You have to believe in each other and the system. If you don't believe in that, because I look at it, and you have like Chris Sosine or one guy wouldn't do their job at that point because he didn't feel I made the right play call of this guy shooting this lane. So he would take his gun in his own brain under the 5 seconds of the start box and decide I'm going to shoot this lane. In actuality, when you watch all the games, we all have the same freaking game plans in our arsenal. We all do. But it's the fact that they executed it and you decided to shoot over here.
Yeah.
But now there's a big hole. That's like not blocking a blocker.
Do you think that has been your issue with, not necessarily your issue, but let's say players who have played underneath you, their issue of not trusting you enough?
Well, of course, because I came in. Some of these guys never saw me play, never saw me win. They always, Billy Saransky won or this guy won and stuff like that. It was like, we all won, dude. I won all these tournaments before this guys came on the tournament or whatever. And yeah, there's a little learning curve in a paintball, but I know the sport, bro. Just believe in me. Don't be like, this guy sitting on the other side of the field, the Dorito side, holding the snake guy in. Well, are you kidding me? The second his ball stops firing, flash, go. Oh, yeah, he's going to see you.
The sport has changed, but
he can't physically
the
shoot you.
generalization of the sport is the same thing it's been for how long?
It's like, oh, you don't believe me that I tell you you could. I had it the first year of me coaching. I had to take Zach Patient and another guy and put him on the Dorito side and have him shoot in the gap in the snake and say, stop firing for a split second. And then Zach, the second he said flash across, it's physically impossible for the balls to exit that guy's gun. Once he stops, once he gives one delay of paint of pulling the trigger, one time, go across. You know, you see Mouse and these guys do it non-stop like it's nothing. Well, how the hell does he do it? You know how he does it? Because he knows you can't get shot from over there.
Yeah.
Okay? And he knows even if the dude's shooting, there's a 30% chance he's going to shoot me getting through that gap, if that.
Yeah.
So what if he sees me? You want him to see you.
Well, you're pulling his gun.
Boom.
You're
a pressure point.
You're forcing his mistake. And so, you know, going back into the coaching role, was it a hard transition for you to go from player to coach?
Oh my God, boy.
And hard for you to kind of,
because
be able to explain those things?
I didn't have any control on the field. You know, like when I played, I physically control the outcome. You know, I could take part in that at least. Then I had myself to blame.
Right.
You know, coaching, you know.
You were almost responsible for yourself when you were playing, but now you have everyone underneath you. You're responsible for.
You have to figure out. You have to make sure they do what they're supposed to do, or stay on the same page. And they never saw me play, so in their eyes, you know, they're entitled. This guy. So who's this guy? I don't have to listen to this go. Or he's just a spaz. You know, and I'm not the type of dude that if you know I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If you screw up, you screw up.
Right.
You know, plain and simple. What are you freaking retarded? You know, shouldn't mean to say that word, but you know, it's just something derogatory, something not nice. You know,
own it.
Own your mistake. Never once for 3 years on that old team did I ever hear somebody say, I screwed up. Yeah, that was me. I freaking made a good shot, or this. It was always an excuse.
Yeah.
What the? Or it was this guy's fault. Well, I didn't trust my side over there, so I had to shoot over there. So you gave up your side. But I didn't trust those guys over there. Oh, you have to trust your team, okay?
Yeah.
Or don't be here, okay? You have to trust them, you know? Because then if you're supposed to be doing something, you, yourself, and you don't do it, I'm holding you accountable.
Right.
Me, personally, on the field with you, you let me get bunkered, you better say, my bad, Bruno. If you acknowledge that, now I really can't say nothing. Well, I had to shoot over here because he just want to slap you. And nowadays you can't do that stuff. You know, some of these kids would say things. They come from this generation of they say something, you know, to you and or argue with you, and just my thing. It's disrespectful. Okay, it's disrespectful, or it's me personally taking it as a threatening act or a threatening thing. So I just bam, I'll hit you.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. You know, and then when you give them that look or give them a little, then they go, oh my God, he was going to, you know, it's like, whoa. I don't know, these guys, you hold yourself accountability in this game and you go places. Like you look at, you know, Infamous, or you look at some of these other, you know, X Factor, whatever, it doesn't matter, these top teams.
Right.
They hold themselves accountable, their own actions.
Now, with you know, with having this drought on Aftershock of not being able to crack that top two, has that discouraged you in any way, or is it just?
Of course, it causes family issues, causes big time home issues. It causes, you know, inside issues. It causes my confidence issues. It you know, yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's the most discouraging thing I've ever done as far as my paintball career and stuff. When you heard Team Aftershock, you were proud of that. People were, you know, nervous to play you or didn't want to play you, and you know, this and that, and then it's just like, oh my God, we're like one of the laughing stocks and the most entertaining thing
Yeah.
is me spazzing out on the sidelines or telling me how my head's gonna freaking blow up, stuff. Just want to go over there and, I don't want to be there because
a lot of it's like a lot of it. I like to feed off of that, kind of transitioning into now, and the team we have now. I'm telling you from me sitting here is that I feed off of a lot of your passion and your heart for the game, right? That helps me go out on the field and do what I need to do. And I think that what is going to be the difference maker for this team from past teams is that, one, they all respect you. Two, they all trust each other and the system and yourself. And three, all we want to do is play paintball and win. So, and I think
that should be everybody's
rosters
common goal.
has said that, but I think truly the actions from last event, even though we went 1-3 or whatever, but people saw us and the way we played and the way the games ran down, and people came up to us and said, "Hey, we can physically, from a third-person perspective, we can see a different kind of flow with this new Aftershock." And I think that is why you're excited about it. That's why I'm excited about it. And I feel like this has the potential to be something that we've been lacking.
I'm excited. I mean, I'm not gonna lie though. It caused like my Dawn gets upset because I come home and I'm just down in the dumps and stuff. This is in the past,
right?
And just like this is just and then I watch the games, and it's like like last year. I mean, God, would lose by 1 point nonstop, and it would be like, and you watch those points and be like, oh my God, bro, if you would have. Wait a minute. You were supposed to go here and shoot here.
Right.
Why are you over here? Why are you in the snake? Why are you supposed to be the X, bro? And you ran to this side on the break because you changed your mind. Because the one guy would be like, where are you shooting? You're going. But I feel better shooting that shot from that angle. So you go here, huh? One goes off. This guy goes do this, and this other guy's like.
So do you have what I said? Do you have that kind of same feeling with this new squad?
No.
Well, I mean the confidence and the new feeling.
I have total confidence
that we have with this.
The only thing I was worried about. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, because these guys were all new in this.
To the pro circuit.
Yes, to the pro circuit.
They've been playing for a while.
These freaking kids ain't new. Yeah, they've been playing for a long while. Are they going to be outgunned and outmatched by these players and stuff? And we played Practice Dynasty Thursday. I mean, we got pooped on.
Yeah.
But it was off the break.
Right.
And it was, whatever. And the way the field was, and we were rushed, and we were all of our faults and stuff like that. Don't get discouraged, guys. Don't get discouraged. We know what we're doing. Like LJ Parrish, I don't think he lived. I think he played probably 15 points against Dynasty, and maybe a cumulative lived for 30 seconds.
Right.
Out of all of it. But then he played, super solid in the event and had his little shining moments, had his brain fart moments, whatever. But that's just, but every time he went up a step on the ladder.
Right.
And we all did. We all did.
And progressively got better.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good point to kind of slow down the conversation, because I want to go out on this podcast just saying that what I think we see in this team that hopefully other people are seeing is a different Aftershock, a more confident, hungry, humble, and a team that really just wants to go out there and win for the name that's on the front of the jersey.
That's what everybody wanted to win, for the name on their back, not the name on the front. That's a huge deal, bro. That's a huge deal. I don't want to, go out there and sure play. I want to be proud to be Mike Bruno, what I'm playing, and stuff like that. But I'm bringing it for here. I'm doing it for here. If it meant me standing up, right, and running, for knowing I'm going to get shot step 2, and then step 3, 4, 5, I'm going to take multiple mores you know, and hurt, basically get pounded. For Billy, you know, to slide into the snake and get next to dudes and shoot those dudes because of the commotion I caused.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't shoot anybody, but he shoots 4 guys. Well, I'm doing it, but I ain't too proud. But you know what? He would do it too.
Yeah, team.
And guys don't understand. There's things that could happen in a game where you need your cannon fodder. Just fucking take the paint. You know, take the paint or make the move. Whatever you got to do to get this other guy to make. You know, when stuff's not. You know.
I think that's that mentality of the team, of the crew that we have now. So and you know, from me to you, I'm just telling you that, you know, these guys, they trust you, and they are buying into the system, and it's good, man. I think it's good for you. I think it's good for the team, good for us, and I think I'm very excited for the year, and I hope you're excited for the year. I know
I'm very excited. Always excited, you know. But
I mean, you definitely seem more excited this year than you have in past, so that makes me happy, and you know, I think it's going to be good. I really do. I really can't wait.
Well,
you're
talking
to
about
play.
guys back that didn't even show up for practice because they just thought they were so good.
Yeah.
You know, and didn't care to even call and say, you know, whatever. And that goes back to this guy's on this team now. Do that for them. See what happens. Yeah. We basically always got everybody's overspill. You know, I think you, Brian, AJ, Rob Velez, you know, some of those first few guys, they were there because they wanted to be there.
Yeah.
But then it got into, you know.
Yeah, it's gonna be gonna be different.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's gonna be different. We should probably wrap it up. You know, I definitely didn't really get into everything I wanted to get into because we have, you know, a bunch of stories of old Aftershocks still.
Ask me a question.
But we've
go ahead, ask me the question.
Well, no. What question do you want me to
I don't know. You tell me. It was alleged. Okay, I was never caught. Never been penalized. Just leave it at that. It was
Did you get wet?
All allegations. It was raining.
That'll be for another podcast. Well, thank you, Mikey, for sitting down. I really appreciate it. And, you know, I really can't wait for the season. I'm excited. And, you know, I think that it's only up from here.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Not saying we're going to go out there and just we're better than everybody and crap on everybody, but we're definitely going to try.
We're excited to play, and I think that's a start. So thank you, Mike, and you know, we'll let's wake up and get to the grind tomorrow.
Oh, I need to smoke on it.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you so much, Mike, for sitting down with me. I'm glad I was finally able to get you to talk on this damn thing. It took forever to get him to do the podcast with me. I tried at an event, at a practice, and he was either sleeping or preoccupied with everything. So thank you so much, Mike, for sitting down and you know, doing this with me. You know, I'm glad you guys were able to listen to this because Mike does have some great points, and I think his way of thinking isn't that far off, and I think he has some logical points. So thank you, Mike, for doing this. Thank you to Planet Eclipse for supplying Chicago Aftershock with some great equipment, the LVR series, and the CS1, the kit bags, the T-shirts, all that coolness, and you know, and thank you for supporting myself throughout the years and this podcast. Thank you, Midwest Clothing, for the awesome headgear. If you go over to MidwestClothingLLC.com, you can find all kinds of coolness, pants, shirts, long sleeves, mainly headgear. You guys really need to check out that section. It is very, very, very cool. Thank you to Vantrition. They have the paintball preload, the reload, and all kinds of sweet proteins at vantrition.com. Thank you to Carbon Paintball for the base layer that Chicago Aftershock is using. I really enjoy it. It's been a base layer change for me. Not only I've gotten rid of just the knee pads under there. I'm now wearing their base layer, and they're coming out with a new top layer. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. Thank you, Carbon Paintball, and thank you, Raza, for creating some of the nastiest sweet beans jerseys out there. I every practice I wear the throwback Chicago Aftershock jersey. I'm super proud of that thing. I think it looks awesome. But they can make you whatever the hell you want. So thank you, Raza. You can find them over at razalife.com. So thank you guys for listening. I really, really appreciate all of the support and the positive feedback. You know, that's the whole reason I'm doing this, is to spread the stories of all these great players and great minds in our game that we enjoy playing so much. And you know, it kind of gives a little insight to all these mystical legends and everyday players, really. And you know, I enjoy having the conversations with them, and I really hope you guys enjoy listening. So do not forget to subscribe on iTunes and on SoundCloud. I am also over on Facebook. You can find myself at Carl Microwave Markowski, and then also the Playing On podcast. We also have a new a fan page over there. Instagram, the Playing On podcast, and myself, C. Mark Hizzle. And on YouTube at Carl Markowski. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I really, really do appreciate it. And there are so many more great episodes to come. So make sure you keep an eye out. So thank you, everyone. And we will see you next time on the Playing On podcast. Take care, everybody.